Good morning. This is call number 2021-72093 in the interest of Erlani Medrano.
Buenos días, este es el caso 2021-72093 en interés de Irliani Medrano.
All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn.
Por favor, levanten la mano derecha para ser jurados.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
¿Jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad delante de Dios?
No juro.
I swear.
Okay, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Señora, por favor, diga su nombre y la relación de usted al niño.
Lidia Medrano, y soy su madre.
Lidia Medrano, and I am the mother.
And representing the state.
Luis Regla.
Y representando el Estado, Luis Regla.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is José de Jesús Regil Martínez.
La corte nota que el nombre del papá es Jesús.
De Jesús
José de
Regil
Jesús
Martínez.
Regil Martínez.
And he was personally served on November 27th, 2021.
Y le dieron papeles de servicio el noviembre 27, 2021,
At 10:51 a.m.
a las 10:51 de la mañana,
at 252 County Road, trailer 3479, Cleveland, Liberty County, Texas.
en 252 County Road, 3479, en Cleveland, Texas.
And he has not filed an answer. Is that correct, Mr. Regla?
Y él no ha hecho una respuesta, señor Regla. Es correcto.
We'll proceed by default.
Vamos a proceder, señor señor.
Thank you, Judge. I call the mother as a witness.
Llamamos a la mamá de testigo.
And ma'am, you are Lidia Medrano, the mother of the child in this case that you had together with José de Jesús. Is that correct?
Señora, usted es Lidia Medrano y usted es la mamá del niño que tuvo con el señor José de Jesús. ¿Es correcto?
Sí, es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. At some point in time, you and the father and your daughter used to live together, but you separated as of September of last year. Is that right?
En un tiempo, usted, la niña y el papá vivían juntos y se separaron un tiempo en septiembre del año pasado. ¿Es correcto?
Es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. And going forward, we're requesting that you be appointed joint conservator with the father, with you having the exclusive right to choose where your daughter lives. Is that right?
Y moviendo para adelante, usted está pidiendo a la corte que sean conservadores gerentes compartidos, dándole a usted el derecho exclusivo de determinar la residencia de la niña. ¿Es correcto?
Es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
And you're fine with the father having the standard schedule of visits with your daughter.
¿Y usted está de acuerdo que el papá tenga las visitaciones standards que ordena la corte?
Es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
In the past, you've used the restaurant Ostioneria Michoacán on Gulf Freeway to pick up and drop off your child, and you're asking the court to continue to allow you to use that as the address. Is that correct?
En el pasado, ustedes han usado el restaurante Ostioneria Michoacán, que está localizado en el Gulf Freeway. ¿Usted está de acuerdo que mantenga eso el lugar donde intercambian la niña?
Sí, estoy de acuerdo.
Yes, I'm in agreement.
That your daughter's on Medicaid?
¿Su niña está en Medicaid?
Sí,
Yes.
And although we believe the father makes more than minimum wage, today we don't actually have proof of the father's income. Is that correct?
Y aunque creemos que el papá hace más de salario mínimo, no tenemos pruebas que él hace más Y estamos basando el salario mínimo hoy, ¿es correcto?
Sí, es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
And although we believe he may have two other kids, we don't have any court orders or the father is not married to anyone that we can use to show he has other children he has to support. Is that also correct?
Y aunque pensamos que él tiene dos niños adicionales, no sabemos si él está casado o que te prueba que él mantenga a esos otros niños para darle crédito. ¿Es correcto?
Es correcto.
Yes, that's correct.
So today we're using minimum wage with just your daughter for dad's obligations to support. Is that right?
Y en este caso estamos usando nomás el salario mínimo y nomás a un niño que él tiene que mantener en el caso suyo, ¿correcto?
Correcto.
Yes, correct.
From September through of last year through today's date, he has given you $355 cash through Zelle. Is that right?
Desde la fecha de septiembre del año pasado, 2021, a la fecha de hoy, él ya más le ha dado $355 por
Zelle?
la aplicación Zelle, ¿es correcto?
Es correcto.
Yes, it's
Es
correct.
correcto.
Okay,
Correct.
so using minimum wage for one child, September of last year through today, minus the money he gave you, leaves a balance of $1,177. Is that correct?
Usando el salario mínimo de la fecha de septiembre del año pasado a hoy, menos la cantidad de 355 que él le ha dado directamente, deja un balance de 1,177. ¿Es correcto?
Es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
So going forward, we're requesting the judge order the father to pay you that money at $58 a month, plus $57 for the Medicaid, and $217 for child support, starting May 1st. Would you agree with that?
Moviendo para adelante, usted está pidiendo que él pague lo atrasado para atrás a $58 por mes, el médico a $57 por mes y la manutención $217 por mes, los tres empezando el 1 de mayo 2022 y cada mes en adelante, ¿es correcto?
Es correcto.
Yes, it's correct.
And do you believe this court order is the best thing for your daughter?
¿Usted piensa que esta orden de la corte es el mejor interés de su niña?
Sí.
Yes.
And are you asking the court to approve of this court order?
¿Y usted está pidiendo a la corte que apruebe esta orden?
Sí.
Yes.
And Judge, that is all I have to present.
Su señoría, es todo lo que tengo para presentar.
Right, the court approve the order as submitted. Thank you.
La corte confirma esta orden. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, señora Medrano. Ya puedes desconectar. Que tenga buen día.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning. This is cause number 2021-69197 in the interest of Ethan Robledo. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Your right hand, ma'am. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
It's Gladys Torres, and I'm the mother of Ethan Robledo.
All right, and represent state of Texas.
Andrea Eoff.
Court will note that Juan Daniel Robledo is the non-custodial parent. He's not present. And he was personally served on December 6th. 2021 at 12:24 p.m. at 510 South Dillard Street, Durham, North Carolina. And he has not filed an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Eoff?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
We will proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'd like to call Ms. Torres. Ms. Torres, will you please state your name for the record one more time?
Gladys Torres.
And Ms. Torres, did Mr. Robledo sign an acknowledgement of paternity for Ethan at the time of birth?
Yes, he did.
And did Mr. Robledo live with you and Ethan here in Texas for a period of time after Ethan's birth?
Yes.
And is it true that you and Mr. Robledo separated in April of 2020?
Yes.
And in the time that you've been separated over the last 2 years, is it true that Mr. Robledo has given you $600 in cash to help support the child?
Yes.
And has he exercised any sort of visitation with Ethan during that time period?
No, he hasn't.
Has he made any attempt to call or speak with Ethan on the phone?
No.
All right. Whenever you and Mr. Robledo were together, were there ever any incidents of violence between the two of you?
Yes.
Can you describe those for the court?
Yes. So he used to hit me. And the last time that I left them, he actually cut me with a knife, and like I had to put him in jail. I had to call the cops on him. And he, when he was trying to hit me, he accidentally hit my son, because my son was with me. So he ended up hitting my son and hitting me.
All right. So based on the history of violence that you guys have had between each other and your son actually being injured by Mr. Robledo, and the fact that Mr. Robledo has had no contact with your child in 2 years, are you asking the court to order a kind of phased visitation schedule that will start with 10 half-day visits, followed by 10 full-day visits, and then a standard possession order after those 20 visits have been completed?
Yes.
And are you asking that your exchange for purposes of visitation be the Dodson Lake Park located at 4107 Laura Copy Road in Houston, Texas?
Yes.
And based on the history that you guys have had together, are you concerned that if Mr. Robledo has your address or phone number, that you could be exposed to harassment, abuse, or potential harm or injury?
Yes.
And based on that, are you asking the court to order a non-disclosure finding and to keep your contact information confidential?
Yes.
All right. And as far as conservatorship is concerned, are you asking that the court appoint you and Mr. Robledo as joint managing conservators and to make you the parent who designates the primary residence of the child with no geographic restriction because he lives in another state right now?
Yes.
All right. And when you and Mr. Robledo lived together, you shared your finances, correct?
Yes.
And what does Mr. Robledo do for a living?
He does roofing.
And is it true that he typically gets paid cash under the table?
Yes.
And is it your understanding, based on your history of shared finances, that he makes $200 a day as a roofer?
Yes.
So based on that, are you asking the court to award child support, guideline child support, based on a gross income of $4,333.33 a month?
Yes.
And would that guideline child support amount be $687 a month?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to also award a retroactive support judgment in the amount of $16,824 to cover the time period between your separation in 2020 to today?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to order Mr. Robledo to pay that back in the amount of $134 a month?
Yes.
All right. And is it true that, to your knowledge, neither of you have access to private health insurance?
Yeah, that's true.
And based on that, are you asking the court to order a medical support payment of $195 a month?
Yes.
All right. I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.